Welcome to the show, Arianne.
Thank you for having me.
So I see that we have about 8 minutes to improve the romantic lives of, let's just say that at least 3 listeners.
I think we can do at least 4.
Well, let's do 4. So for me, one of the most helpful passages in the book was when you discussed the secret to happiness. Can you talk about what that is?
Absolutely. So happy diarists, they tend to have 2 things in common. They are very familiar with their own needs. They know what they want sexually, they know what they want emotionally, and they know what they need in terms of lifestyle, daily support. And they feel like they're on the path to meeting them. So that doesn't mean that their lives are great. It just means that they feel like they're moving in the right direction and taking steps to eventually meet their needs.
Okay. And the diarists that you actually... These are all different types of people, all different ages, and in all different situations. Yeah. And do you have any examples of diarists that were happy or on the way to being happy?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's people whose lives aren't necessarily going very well. There's a bunch of diarists who were in the midst of marriages that they weren't particularly happy with, but they had, committed to couples therapy or decided that they were going to get a divorce. And there's a lot of calm that comes with that when people are like, all right, this is what I need. I'm not getting it, so I'm going to take these steps. It's the people who have no idea what they want, who are filled with a lot of angst, and they tend to blame their partner. They say, I am sad, and it is because of you.
Yeah. When in actuality, it's just that they haven't really thought about what they need and thought to, here's an idea, ask for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you had a couple examples of diaries that you wanted to have Faces for Radio.
Yeah.
Of these were a couple different kinds of happy people, right?
Yeah. There's many different paths to happiness. The first one is he's the resident Lothario of the book. He's 30 and he lives in Camden, New Jersey, and he's dating roughly a half dozen women.
Saturday, 11:45 a.m. Voicemail from Jennifer. She called at 11 p.m. We've been hooking up for 2.5 years. 12 p.m. Just did the state of the relationship talk with Jennifer, which we have every 2 weeks. Basically, she doesn't think I give her enough detail of where we're at. I say, I'm close to making a decision. She says, I've been waiting patiently, and I'm sick of this. And I'm like, okay, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do your thing. And she says, why don't you just break up with me? I tell her about all my girlfriends. She knows more than any of them. She says, at least you're honest. And by the end of the conversation, she's somewhat reassured, and she loves me again.
That's a happy guy.
Exactly.
And then you have something on a completely different spectrum of happy.
This is one of my favorite diarists in the book. She's a grandmother. She's 80 years old. She lives in San Francisco, and she's kind of pleasantly caustic.
Sunday, 11:33 a.m. Had my hair done this morning. Looks good. There are 2 people in my life who say, Nancy, you should date. My daughter-in-law, who is lucky I'm still talking to her, and my hairdresser. To me, it's too much work. I'm a different generation. The women stay home and take care of family, and the man, heck no. If a man asked me for a cup of coffee, I'd say, well, there's the kitchen. Monday, 9:30 a.m., cooking a pot of oatmeal. Want comfort and love? Cook yourself some oatmeal. Whole oats, of course, not the instant kind. Dreams are made of this stuff.
Trisha Ferguson. Thanks, Trisha. I think, and especially I think that diary in particular illustrated something that people have a hard time believing that people can be happy alone. But when you read her diary, you really believed she was. Did you get that a little bit where people were alone and should have been happy, but because they believed that it was a myth, they weren't?
Oh, absolutely. And her in particular, she was married for 40 years, and I had no idea she was going to write that. I thought that she was going to be kind of very couple-centric, and she's absolutely not. About 80% of the diarists intend to be in monogamous relationships. They're looking to be in part of a couple. But only 40% of them, maybe 45%, are actually doing that at any one time, which leaves, half of people who are doing something else. And a lot are what I call soloists, which is what this woman is. She's meeting her own sexual, emotional, and lifestyle needs and is very happy doing that.
So, what are some of the other misconceptions that end up making people unhappy or having them not get what they want sexually?
I was brought up with the idea that sexual compatibility is rare, that, if you find somebody and you have banging sex with them, you should really, pay attention to that. So, let me break down the numbers for you. I've read something like 2,500 or 3,000 diaries now, and everybody talks about their previous lovers. So that means that I've read maybe like 10,000 couplings and groupings. And about a third of them were really good, really great, maybe amazing. And that's a lot. That's a really lot. And what that says to me is that humans are really designed to have great sex with each other. And finding all the other stuff, like somebody who's compatible with your lifestyle and your personality and all your needs, that's harder to find. But people, great sex is really pretty easy to find. And you don't need to worry about that.
Right. So, and over the course of doing this whole thing, your own story changed, like your own view of sexuality changed while you were working on this project.
Absolutely. It was revolutionized. The book just exposed me to a whole litany of ways of doing things, of ways of doing relationships other than monogamous coupledom. So, right now I'm in an open relationship that could change. I'm not, I'm not particularly for one kind of relationship or another, but I just became exposed to all the options, and it's really changed my life quite a bit.
Well, and one of my favorite quotes from the book is, you wrote this, the truth is that falling in love is often a predictable mix of compatible biochemistry and aligned priorities. Were you always a romantic, or did writing this book turn you into one? Did you find doing this book you just are, you're not romantic at all anymore?
This book has it's turned me into a bit of a Borg. I think falling in love is really predictable. I think that, the unique parts of a relationship that people create are really quite unique. But think about how many breakups I've read and how many people saying, our relationship was so special and now it's over. I call that the tyranny of the special, because everybody says that. and it's not quite true. We're designed to fall in love, and we do, and then we fall out of love. So,
did you ever read a diary that was written at the beginning of a relationship and know exactly what it was going to look like because you'd already read it through another story?
Yeah, sometimes I just want to delete and cut paste with another diary and be like, this is what's going to happen to you. But instead, I have to watch you go through this.
Right. So moving forward, there's still the website, and it's just, is it the Sex Diaries Project?
Yeah, sexdiariesproject.com. People can come keep their own anonymous diaries anytime that they would like. And
moving forward, what's going to happen with the project?
I'm working on a TV show that's based on the concept.
That's
pilot,
great.
So yeah.
Yeah, and you're working on that right now?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
We gave women flip cams, and they keep video diaries, basically. They just talk to their camera all the time. It's great.
Well, the book is The Sex Diaries Project. What we're saying about what we're doing. The author is Arianne Cohen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Look for the TV show. You've been listening to a snippet of Livewire, the radio variety show that's like a chew toy for your brain. For more information about the show or to download our podcast, visit livewireradio.org.